What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Fire It Up Friday. It's good to see all of you. Man, I've got to where I really look forward to these things during the week, and this week in particular, I've been really excited about this. Man, one of the new people in my life is one of my favorite people in the world. We got Mr. Tig. For those of you who have seen the movie 13 Hours, which is what you know, I would say what you're most known for. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, pretty much. That's the only thing I'm known for.
But he's got a book out, man, and you and I, Tig, we met through Justin Patterson, who's an awesome fellow that I think the world of, man. And I'm so glad he introduced us, man. You've been an awesome guy to know and to talk to, and man, especially with Memorial Day coming up, man. I think it's a special time to have you on. Somebody who's been there, seen it. For those of you who have not seen the movie 13 Hours or read the book, which you need to read the book. Hollywood's Hollywood. The book, I was really impressed. But man, I don't want to put you on the spot too much. I know it's way too long of a story, to cover it all. But if you would, for everybody that may not be aware of that situation, what's your best long story short, or a very, very long story short?
It was a firefight for 13 hours. Okay.
That's good. Yeah. There's a lot more in the book, a lot more information about what went down and how it went down. And
so
oh well, hey,
you said short, so
yeah.
So yeah, it was 9/11 2012, and I was actually on my fourth trip into Libya, my third trip inside Benghazi, and the UN ambassador was coming down to kind of do a ribbon cutting ceremony. Can't even talk anymore. And it was supposed to happen on the 13th, and it was also we were also trying to look for a new location for a consulate and for the CIA, the agency, is what we call them, to co-locate, so we'd all be on one compound together. But during this time, his security got pulled, or got reduced, I should say. Not really pulled, it just totally got reduced. He came down with 3 security personnel. There was 2 guys that was already there. September 9/11 2012, that kind of morning, it started off like a normal day, and we did get intel that there was going to be an attack on a local government facility. But during this time, it was like they're dealing with their first election, so they were firebombing government offices, politician offices. They were kidnapping politicians, so we kind of took it more as an attack on them. But it turned out it was an attack on the U.S. consulate. And it started out, it depends on who you talk to, it started around between 9:30 9:40 at night. There was no protest. It was a full-on assault. We got the call. We got told to stand down. We pretty much told them to go pound sand when we got a radio call from the State Department saying, hey, if you guys don't get here now, we're all gonna fucking die. But that's what the radio call does. That was it. Job be damned. We knew that we were the only hope that they had. They're pretty much being held hostages on the U.S. consulate. We went over there. We repelled the initial assault. We're trying to locate the ambassador. We ended up finding Sean Smith's body within a few minutes of arriving. And during the time we were searching for the ambassador, we got counter-assaulted. We repelled that counter-assault, and there was a third one that was coming because the drone had finally showed up, and they're relaying to us that there's about 50 to 100 men moving towards our location and pretty much to assault us again. So we made the tough call to leave the consulate even without the ambassador, because again, we didn't know if he was inside the building or if he got kidnapped or if he took off foot somewhere. Nobody knew where he was at all. So we gathered up. We all went back to the CIA annex, and we got assaulted 3 more times on that compound. The final assault was with mortars and a ground assault. The mortars ended up hitting one of the buildings directly. So it was like 3 out of the 5 rounds hit the building. That ended up killing 2 Navy SEALs, Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty, and wounding 2 other Americans, Oz and Dave Ubin. And, but again, we held our own. They got treated. The 2 guys got treated. We got the guys off the roof. And then how we got out of Benghazi, we actually had a local militia, 300 men that showed up in gun trucks. Luckily, they were on our side because we'd have been screwed. But this militia that escorted us to the airport were Gaddafi loyalists. And so the same guy that we helped overthrow and take out, his military unit came and saved us, pretty much. There's another reason why we got out of that compound into the airport. And while we're waiting at the airport, the militia was able to go to the hospital and recover the ambassador's body, because the looters went back after we left, or the attackers, whatever you want to call them, went back. They found him inside of his room. They got him out. His neighbor saw who he was, took him from them, put him in his vehicle, and took him to the hospital. And that's where he was pronounced dead from that local hospital. I think probably about 3 in the morning is when we actually got the final word that he was deceased. So if anybody heard about those rumors about him being tortured, mutilated, or raped, that never happened to him. He died of smoke inhalation inside the building, and he was immediately removed and taken straight to the hospital. But the militia that took us to the airport went back to the hospital, recovered his body, brought him back to us, and then a Libyan C-130 landed, and we all loaded up on the Libyan C-130, and that's how we got out of Benghazi. So it was no American support whatsoever, besides a quick reaction force from Tripoli that were CIA personnel. There was 2 Delta Force guys that came down with them, but that was it. That's the only thing. It's pretty much all internal QRF, or quick reaction force, or rescues. And again, that's pretty much all as quick as I can talk to that one. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of that story.
That's a lot in a little bit of time. I can only imagine. And the details are really, really, man, y'all tagged it in this book really well. And through the entirety of this, even the movie, I understand Hollywood's Hollywood, but through the entirety of this, man, for those of you that are watching, don't know about the story, haven't seen anything about it, your jaw will be in your lap the entire time. Because it wasn't that you guys didn't have access to American assets, right? It's just that they weren't offered.
Yeah, I mean, they were. You talked to a lot of guys. And having SEALs there, having Rangers there, having other Marines there, we kind of knew units that were in the area, that were close by. We fly into different areas, and to fly into Benghazi. So over in Italy, right there was actually an Air Force, or Italy Air Force base, probably about I'll say an hour at the most away from Benghazi, because we used to fly from that base into Benghazi initially before Tripoli opened up. And for them to say there was no support available that would get there in time, we flew by prop plane from that base over to, so everything's, I mean, there was the 24th MEU was about I think 4 hours away, and that's about 10,000 Marines just in that MEU. And then you had the USS Dunham, I believe, was about 3 to 4 miles off the coast of Libya. Then you had a Civ company who broke the line for Libya, almost made it to Benghazi before they got told to turn around. So there was units available. It kind of, to me, it almost seems like they weren't being told actually what was going on during the time. It was being either downplayed or just not straight told to them. Because people, they always say, well, the country failed you. Well, it wasn't the country that failed us. It was that administration at the time that failed us. Because if the guys knew what was going on, they would have came. I mean, that's just what Americans do, and I mean that's what a lot of other countrymen do for their folks. I mean, they go. That's what they do. That's their job. But a lot of people ask me, how do we did the book? All five of us never, even after Benghazi, we never worked with each other again. We never really got to talk to each other. So it wasn't like we all got, talked and like collaborated on writing the book. So it's what the author had us tape record our version of the story and send it to him. So we did it minute by minute. Of course, Tonto, I think he gave him like 30,000 hours of recording, I think is what he said. Wow. That's the Ranger. He's a good storyteller. But so that's kind of how we did. So we sent him all. So he got 5 different recordings for 5 different people, and then he just he meshed the stories together, and he wrote the first book, the first edition. Then we kind of read it and we talked it over, said, no, this ain't how I remember it. And that's the only it was just trying to refine how everything matched up and how we linked up. Because we all had our own different views because we're not all together at the same time. So that's kind of how the book came about. Again, I mean, because a lot of people think that we all sat down and talked to each other and did the book. We didn't talk to each other at all. Because I went back to work. I went over to a different area. Tonto, Jack, and Boone, they went to a different area. And Oz, he stayed home because he was too injured. He couldn't go back to work. So that's another thing. A lot of people think we just did the book and we quit working. No, we didn't quit working. We all were working, and we were seeing what was being told to the public about what happened over there, why it happened. And I testified from the Senate committee. I testified from the Rogers committee, and obviously the select committee. And my story never changed, but their story never changed either of actually what happened. So that's why we said, screw it. We have to do the book. We got to get the story out. And we left the politics out of it. There's no politics in the book or the movie, because to us, if we put the politics involved, it dishonors the 4 guys that lost their lives. So people say, why didn't you just come and talk about it on the news? Why'd you have to go write a book? You're just trying to make money off of it. Well, before we talk about the money portion of it, if you go on the news, you see what happens. Everything gets twisted and turned and sliced up, and then they come up with their own agenda anyways. It's written in a book. You can't change it. It's written. There's nothing they can do. So they can't change our words the way they want. So, and then as for the money, well, we did get money for the book, but not like people think. And we don't. So right now, book sales, we don't get any money off of it. That's not what we did it for. Of course, we had to get paid because we lost our jobs. We all got fired. We all lost our security clearance. We can't do the same thing we did. So we got to figure out what we're going to do. So, and that's kind of how the whole book came about in the down and dirty process of it.
Well, I'll tell you, folks, so 13 hours, the inside account of what really happened in Benghazi. Mitchell Zuckoff with the Annex Security Team. So #1 New York Times bestseller. That's nothing to be laughed at. Man, I just got to say, I know from our previous experience, you're not one to really soak in a lot of praise or you're one of those guys, man, that I've just really been impressed with since I've met you. And man, I got to say, folks that are watching, it's a little bit different to be doing what I do for a living. I've kind of been exposed to, being recognized and having to get used to extra attention. And man, that's all, that's been all about writing songs and playing shows. I can imagine what it would be like to go through something like this that is just unimaginable, unfathomable for somebody. I wouldn't know where to start to begin to try to wrap my mind around what you guys went through. And not just this night, what you went through, in the years leading up to it, in the years after. And I can't imagine how hard it would be to be recognized. And I'm sure everybody wants to know, man, and you probably had to tell the story a million times over, just like I just asked you to do. So I got to say, man, just out of all the love and respect I already have for you, man, I just, you're somebody that I look up to, man. I appreciate you. And
For sure.
And all the guys that you told me about that you shared that experience with, and the experiences before and the experiences after, man, I just want to say, man, I respect you guys more than words can say, and more than even I understand. You guys made a sacrifice that I and a lot of this country didn't make, and you know, I just think it's amazing the decisions you guys made to put yourself in harm's way after you already do that. You know, when you sign up to protect this country against all, you know, threats, foreign and domestic. You're just an amazing group of men, you know, to begin with, and girls. I'm not leaving y'all out, you know, but you guys in particular, man, I was blown away hearing the stories Justin would tell me, and to be able to shake hands with you and just say thank you meant more to me, I think, than you'll ever understand. And man, I really appreciate you taking the time to get on with me tonight. For those of you that are locking in late, we're on with John T. I get to call him. Man, I feel special to be able to call you by your nickname. You know what I mean? Just go on record and say that, dude. What you've done, you know, since this experience, you know, I don't feel like any of you guys, any of you guys have really tried to, you know, pull attention towards yourselves. You pulled attention towards the situation. You want people to know the story, and man, you really want to showcase the legacy and make sure that people know to appreciate the guys that were lost that day and before that day and after that day. And man, I can't imagine doing what you guys do, doing what you did, and what you will do in life. I have all the respect in the world for you. You know, through the conversations we've had, you know that with my limited knowledge, I do try to do everything possible to just show you, you know, veterans and active duty guys and girls that I truly do appreciate y'all. It's not a spotlight thing. It's you know, I could give a shit less if anybody knew or not that we were having conversations, you know, outside of this one, or, you know, it's just, I truly do appreciate y'all, what you stand for, what you do. I just think it's amazing. I know you got a lot of things going on now, man. The way you move forward from this experience, and you know, you talked about losing security clearance, and I can't imagine you've done all these things, you got all this training, you know, and this happens, and you know, if I've ever heard the word hero, I mean, that's what every one of you guys involved in that situation that night were. You know, you were a hero before that happened in my eyes, but you know, to be stripped of all that and to move forward the way you have, I think it's nothing short of admirable and absolutely amazing. But you got a lot of stuff going on. I know right when we were getting ready to go on the cruise, ladies and gentlemen, this guy calls me and he's like, "Hey man, I've got some stuff with me that I don't think I can take on the boat." And it was some equipment, we'll say. Dude, let's be honest. Most of the folks watching are very aware of what guns are and not offended by them at all. So, you know, one of the things that you've been involved with are these tactical games, which I didn't know the extent of these things. So it's like, I mean, you can go more in depth on it, but to me, what it looked like, you know, at first hearing you was, you know, it's like shooting, CrossFit, just everything you could think of that would be hard wrapped up into one thing, but you get to shoot stuff all at the same time. So what's that all about?
It's like you said, it's kind of it's two gun, it's rifle pistol, pretty much meets CrossFit and Tough Man. It's more of a military style shooting competition. You have we call them athletes instead of shooters. You got 5 athletes that go at one time. So a lot of shooting competitions, you have one guy going and that's it, because you know they shoot in multiple directions. But the tactical games, it's pretty much straightforward. It kind of makes it a little bit more competitive. But you know, you're lifting, you know, you might lift 150-pound freaking bare bare bag. Just you got to figure out how to lift it from the ground up over your shoulder, and you got body armor on, you got your magazines, you got your both weapon systems, your pistol and your rifle, and you got to figure out how to maneuver everything and probably run 100 yards, drop it, maybe run another 200 yards, jump over a wall, clear a house, come back, climb a rope, come back down, pick up another sandbag, weighs probably about 50 pounds, and figure out how to get down somewhere. And it's just that kind of stuff. It's a lot more physical, and it's a lot more mental stuff as well, because the other ones, you're not really mentally worn out or physically worn out. This one, it'll physically wear you out, so then your mental process starts wearing out, because when you're fatigued and you're not used to it, and you try to engage or try to start thinking, what was the shooting scenario? How was I supposed to shoot? Was I supposed to shoot through this hole or that hole? And if you go through the wrong one, you just gotta, it's a fail to follow instructions. That's like a 2-minute penalty, and everything's timed. So if you're in the lead and you just shot through the wrong hole, it's every hole after that is going to be wrong, because you just failed the initial one or initial position. So you could went from first to last in just a split second. But again, it's a fun way. I enjoy it because it kind of gets me back in that mode, that competition mode. But I do it for fun. I don't care if I win or lose. It doesn't, whatever. I've won one so far. So, but again, I'm not there. I'm just there to have fun, enjoy the company, because you don't really get it anywhere else. There's a lot of military mindset guys. People ask, do you have to be, like certain qualifications? The only qualification you got to have is weapons handling and probably physically fit, because it's a butt kicker. We had a 16-year-old that came out and shot it, and a 63-year-old guy that came out and did it. So, it's women and men, and it's just a really fun competition. And like I said, I was going on that cruise with you, and I just done a competition. Like, hey, where can I store these things? You're like, hey, you store them on the bus.
You can put them with mine.
So, yeah, we were running late for that one too. I was like, man, that butt's gonna leave before we get there. It's not gonna be good. I think our flight got delayed, so then we had but we made it, and it was a good time. Came back at a rush to get your bus. That was coming off. I've never been on a cruise before, so coming off, and it was like a madhouse. People just like, whoa. So it was a good time.
It was a good time, man. I enjoyed the hell of it, and I gotta say, it was pretty cool to be the whole time we were there. Be like, dude, I got one badass dude like Arsenal in my bus right now. But I will say that there was something in the back of my mind going, I don't think anybody's stupid enough to break in my bus, but God, I hope not, because this dude can definitely, like, I started having flashbacks to that Tiegen movie. Like, dude, if you take this man's guns, they would have took mine too. I would have just, I don't know what would have happened, but it wouldn't have been good. I'm glad I didn't have to be a part of all that. Man, it could have went bad, just gone south real quick. But man, I looking at pictures and stuff that you showed me about those competitions, man, that's so impressive. And ladies and gentlemen, if you can't tell, this is not a small man. This is not a man that you would want bare knuckle fighting you by any means, let alone shooting at you. Just and trained to be very good at both. You're a dangerous individual. I'm glad I'm on your good side. I hope I'm on your good side. If I ever work my way.
I'm on my good side, man.
All right, cool. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. So, man, tell me. So, a lot of people ask me, and I feel like anytime I have a conversation about any of the work that we've done or are involved in doing with veterans or active duty guys and girls, a lot of people want to know how to get involved or if they can help. And a lot of people are interested in helping, but may not, have the financial stability to help in the way they want. I feel like in large part, in my experience at least, anytime we have a conversation about, the legitimate struggles, the very legitimate struggles that are going on for you guys and girls, coming home. And, anytime somebody asks me, what can I do to help? And my honest to God, response at this point is, hey, man, talk to a vet, find an active duty guy or girl and ask how you can help. Because I think at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is, a lot of these people that are running, charitable organizations have their heart and their mind in the right place, but I don't think anybody knows better than a veteran or an active duty guy or girl. I just think there's a way that you all communicate and an understanding that you have with one another that we'll never understand or be able to comprehend. And I know that you spoke to me about some of the things that you've been involved in doing, and I know you got a passion for that. And man, it's again another just insanely admirable trait of yours, and a lot of guys that you associate with. But what this Warrior Weekend thing, can you refresh my memory on that? I think folks would like to know a little bit about that.
Yeah, so actually our Warrior Weekends, it's coming up June 11th, but it's how we it's easier to kind of explain how we got started with the Warrior Weekend. I've done a hog roast since 2001 because when I got out of the Marine Corps, I wasn't seeing my friends or buddies anymore. And when I was growing up, I remember being around bikers, and they always had hog roast, and all the buddies would show up. So I was like, well, here, I kind of live in the city, but whatever. So I started a hog roast on my sidewalk. And so all my friends would start coming over, start hanging out. And fast forward it to where I live now, and I was still doing it, but then I had a veteran buddy call me, and he said, hey, I got to have brain surgery, but I need to raise, another $5,000. Can you help me out? This is probably like a month before. And I said, yeah, we'll do a little fundraiser here at my house for it. And normally it's always free, but ended up charging all my friends like $25. We ended up raising $2,500 for him.
Nice.
But he came up, he brought, he came up, he brought a friend with him. And his friend came, he brought his wife and his twin daughters and stuff and kind of hung out. And, everybody kind of left. Everything was good. But it's what we do, it's kind of like everybody kind of just hangs out, has, around a fire pit, drinks beer. If you don't drink, but play music, whatever. And about a month later, we get an email from him. And he said, hey, my goal was to come up there and just have one little fun powwow like it normally are, and I was going to kill myself. But hanging around with you guys and doing how everything just happened, everybody's just kind of talking, it said it just changed me. It changed who I was, and we actually were still in touch with the guy today, and that's what kind of we started our foundation Beyond the Battlefield, because we just see there's a gap in certain things. Sometimes people just got to come and hang out, but so the Warrior Weekend is kind of based off of what happened with that guy. We bring in as many veterans as we can. This year it's a little bit smaller. It's not open to the public, but we bring them in, let them have fun. We've taken them fishing, whitewater rafting, but the biggest thing how a lot of guys heal is just hanging out pretty much around a fire pit. Usually we'll have somebody there that knows how to sing, or at least play guitar. I don't know if they can really sing, but at least they can play guitar. So but again, that's where a lot of guys open up and things actually start happening is during that time. Even ones that have been in counseling and stuff, they'll say the same thing. I actually felt better there because they're in their environment and they trust everybody that they're with, even though they just met them like Friday. But Saturday, everything changes. Sunday it changes. So that's pretty much what Warrior Weekend is. And, we take them, we're actually doing it down in Texas, in Burnett, Texas, and we'll take them to Hilo, let them shoot out of helicopters, go hog hunting. We do this same. It's called Redneck Olympics, and you can think anything redneck. It's we're playing golf with a shotgun with a tennis ball into a toilet.
Yeah.
So
I'm in on that.
So it's just that kind of stuff. It's just to let them hang loose and have fun. But that's what our Warrior Weekend is. It's just about the warrior just come hang out, have fun, and enjoy themselves. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, awesome. And it's been pretty successful. Again, it's I mean, a lot of, again, I'll go back to, I've seen what you do for veterans. A lot of veterans see what you do. And again, it's just a lot of times it's just about being there. You don't always need money. Just call a veteran organization if you have a certain skill, especially like computers or graphic design. You got to do that kind of stuff. Hit them up. They're always needing more help that way. And we hate to use foundation money that can go and pay for veterans rent versus paying for graphics or website or something, because that's the only way you can expose yourself to get the funds to help them. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. Or advertise you're doing a fundraiser. You have to pay money to advertise so people know what you're doing. So that's another way you can help. It's not really always about the money. It's just always about what you can provide to them in that kind of way. Or you can just show up and volunteer for the fundraisers and stuff like that. Sometimes you need people to help because you'll serve the veterans, or you'll serve the attendees that come that pay that money to sit at that table instead of having to pay a serving company. That's another way you can do it. You volunteer your time so that money can go back to that veteran or the first responder or the other what the organization is providing for. That's, again, it's not always the money that people ask, but obviously it is the money that helps the veterans for the most part.
For sure. Would you say if somebody's not in a wonderful financial situation, they want to contribute some way, form, or fashion, they find somebody like yourself that's involved and say, hey, man, this is my skill set. This is what I'm capable of, and I'd like to contribute. And more times than not, you'll be able to find a way they can contribute in some way, form, or fashion. Uh-oh, did I lose you? Oh, I think I might have lost you. Are we still live, ladies and gentlemen? Somebody shoot me a comment down here and let me know if y'all are still here. So I see a lot of people asking about where to get a shirt like Tiggs, and I was wondering the same thing myself. I will find that out from him and let you know. It looks like I may have lost him. We'll see if we can't get him back. If we're not able to, I already feel just incredibly honored and privileged to have been a part of that conversation. Guys and girls, I'm telling you, man, being around this guy, a lot of you know that I try to dedicate as much as my time and other resources that I possibly can to help veterans and active duty folks. But, everybody's a little bit different. This guy right here is just an incredible person. I'm proud to know him. I think he's still here. There he is. We got you back.
Hey, man, I don't know what happened.
Hey, I didn't think, I don't know how all this works. I'll be honest with you. Like, Steve's over here helping me figure all this out because I am just a hillbilly, man. I'm not good on this stuff. But I didn't think we were going to get you back. So that's impressive in itself. The last thing I wanted to ask you about, man, obviously folks can't, for one, people want to know, one, where can they find the book? Where can they buy the book? And two, where can they find a shirt like the one you have on?
This is a grunt style shirt. I don't know if they still sell. This one's a pretty old one, but I got some like these actually off 9 line that actually are my tick shirts. I got them out there. But the book, you can go to my website and you'll get a autographed book. Just go to johntiegen.com, or you can go to my Instagram page. I think you can find it there as well on the links on the profile. So same with Facebook. But and those ones be autographed. Other than that, I mean, you can get them still at Barnes and Noble and stuff, but they won't be autographed.
Killer.
So
awesome. Well, man, I know you've got one or not one more. There's tons of things you've been working on, but one of the things I've been trying to get back in shape, man. This whole quarantine thing, I'm over it, but it is what it is. But I've tried to get rid of this little dad bod. Dude, you're older than me, but you look like you're 10 times younger, and it made me feel really bad. So when we got off the cruise, I was like, I got to get in shape. Maybe not like that bad. It'll take years to get there, but I at least got to do better than I'm doing. And I did some looking around, and I know you mentioned in the conversation, I can't remember him it was about, this TIG 13 workout, kind of like a challenge type thing, where like a workout you're putting together.
Yeah, so I kind of did this because people are asking me about how there's they call them hero wads for the fallen in Benghazi, or what do you do for a workout? Do you have like a training program, this and that? And so I was going through a lot of injuries. I was having a lot of surgeries. I was hurting myself working out. So finally I was smart enough to get an actual trainer. And when people are sending these messages, I asked her, I said, hey Tess, can you help me do this? I want to do this workout thing for the honor of the 4 guys in Benghazi, but I'm not a trainer, because if I did it, I'd probably kill myself doing it and putting it together, because I'd just make it so freaking hard nobody'd want to do it. So so we kind of sat down and we put this thing together. And I mean, it's going to be a butt kicker, but then my thinking was, well, how can I get people who normally don't go and work out and do these kind of challenges to honor those who sacrificed, because I've talked to people saying, man, I would love to do the Murph workout, but I don't know how to train for it. I don't know how to prepare for it. So that's what the Take 13 challenge was, or is to kind of get those people motivated to start moving and working out. It started off really slow. So if you want to start working out, go back to week 1. And work your way up, but it's just to teach people the movements and to build up to the final challenge. That's what it's for. It's for like the initial one, for if you're like a hardcore CrossFitter, it's probably not going to be very challenging for you at all.
Right.
But as we go on, it's starting to get to where it's a point where it's going to be challenging for just about anybody who wants to do it. And because what you put into it is what you get out of it. But it's. And then for the final workout, I'm not. Nobody knows what the final workout is. I mean, I do, because we built it, but I'm not going to let anybody know about it yet. So that way, you don't have a bunch of people just training for that workout this year. The next year, obviously, it'll be different. But it's going to be like a $35 entry. We're going to have a central location, so you'll be, if you want to, it'll be actually out in Dallas. You can fly, you can work out with me and a bunch of other people. But it's a $35 entry fee. And all the proceeds go to be on the battlefield. But it's what it is. It's to honor the it's the Take 13 Warrior WOD is what we're going to call it. Instead of a Hero WOD, we're going to call it the Warrior WOD. It's a little bit different, but it's going to be 13 exercises for the 13 hours that we fought, and each exercise is going to be 22 reps to honor the 22 veterans that commit suicide every day. So it's a kind of, and that's what the whole thing is. It's kind of bring awareness, but it's to honor and it is to help the foundation. But I'm designing it so it can be built up. Anybody can do it. It is just a matter of how many times, how many rounds you can get in. But anybody can do it. Anybody, and you'll be able to finish it. I've actually had my kids; they did it. We are going to have a scaled kids version as well, so they can compete if they want to compete. We do live workouts on Sundays, except for this Sunday because of Memorial Day weekend, and I'm going to be in the woods. But we've actually had a kid who found out we were doing it and forced his parents to sign him up and said, "I want to do this with this guy." And the kid was, I think, 13 years old. So he's doing workouts with us, and he's doing the Take 13 challenge. I'm just throwing that out there for everybody.
How about that?
And the only equipment you need, I mean, pretty easy. You just need something you can step up on, and a sandbag or a dog food bag or a bag of rice, just something with some weight. The men's is usually about 50 pounds. The women's 35 pounds. So again, it's minimum equipment. You don't need a huge area either. And for the final workout, you can do it at home as well. You can sign up for the final workout at home. There's a link in my bio as well, and we're actually giving there's monthly giveaways that I do. Like I think we're up to like seven companies that are donating, so 7 people will win. It's just random. You don't have to do anything special. For the final workout, they'll give it one for the top male, top female, and then it'll be random 2 individuals. And they're a pretty big package. It's going to be pretty sturdy. I mean, one of the bows, and it's $800 bow alone by itself. So,
Nice.
we got it. In Martin Archery, you got 9-line, Man Sport, Vortex. They just stepped on board. Kill Cliff, Celtic Holsters, Safari Land. So, and I think 511 is going to jump on board. So it's kind of grown as it gets more exposure, obviously. But again, the big focus is the September 11th weekend for the final workout. So
That's incredible, man. That's absolutely incredible. And the fact that you take, your time and really have dedicated your life to, you know, being healthy, but really honoring the legacy of those you love and lost. And man, I tell you, with this weekend in particular, coming up, for those of you that are watching, man, and Tig, throw it anywhere you want to here, but I was one of those for a long time when I was younger, man. Memorial Day weekend was a time to go find somebody that had a boat, man, and go to the lake, coolers, and throw down. But man, if y'all are watching this tonight, make a concerted effort to really, even if it's just you, but make some time during the day just to think about what Memorial Day is truly about. Think about the legacies of those folks who sacrificed literally their lives, for you to be able to be free enough to go jump on that boat and pop that cooler, drink beer all day, man. They say some all gave some gave all. But man, I feel like there's a lot of people. You talk about 22 suicides a day. There are a lot of people who gave their lives, on whatever tour they were on, and still came back home, but they're not really, they never really came back. I feel like, and it's just, man, I think it's incredible how blind we can be at times, or just selectively knowledgeable about what's going on, and it's one of those things, man, where I feel like when we're in open conflict and it's widely known that we're beefing with somebody, and guys are going on tours, and but guys, for everybody that's watching, there are still people right now going on 11 to 12 month tours, and there's things going on that we're not hearing about on the news. There's always conflict. I feel like there's never not conflict, and there's never a second in this country or anywhere in the world that a person in the service is not sacrificing their time, their blood, sweat, and tears, and their lives, for us in this country and our freedom. So, man, when y'all are partying it up this weekend, especially on Monday, just take the time, man, to acknowledge, those that have fought for you and paid the ultimate price. And Tig, I know y'all will. And man, is there anything you would say to somebody who's watching this, that just anything you could give them advice wise on just, or not even advice wise, just what this weekend means to somebody who has been in what a lot of people call the shit, but somebody who has been in the real deal. What does this weekend mean to you? I know I feel like it's an impossible question to answer, but man, I want people to know what the gravity of this weekend and this holiday, really is about, to you guys.
I mean, to me, it's you should go out and celebrate the freedom, and because to me, us being out and celebrating that freedom, I mean, it's a little bit different right now with the COVID stuff, but going out and celebrating your freedom, you should do that. Don't feel guilty about doing that at all. That's why, to me, that's why I went over there and did it. So we can be that selfish and just have fun and enjoy yourself. The thing on Monday, so a lot of people don't know that 3:00 your local time is supposed to be the moment of silence to pay tribute to the fallen for Memorial Day. So no matter where you're at, just set a clock. 3:00, just moment of silence for 10 seconds. To me, that's good. I mean, because being here and living your life the way you want, you're honoring those, in my opinion, that pay the ultimate price. Because you're enjoying your freedom. That's why I joined. I didn't join the military so somebody can just and be down on themselves. I can't go join Memorial Day weekend. Is this guy? No, go and celebrate, because that's why I did what I did, because I wanted to do it. I wanted to protect this country and serve this country. That was my choice. So that's why that's what I believe in it. But at 3:00 your local time, just take that moment of silence to honor those who fought and sacrificed. So I don't know. I think the number is 2.8 million casualties from the American Revolution till today. So that's how many people have paid the price for our freedoms. The casualties is also the wounded is what I'm talking about. I think it's like 2 million, just over 2 million dead Americans for our freedoms. That's all the wars. That's not really just our freedom. That's other nations' freedoms. I mean, World War II was for other nations' freedoms. World War I, Korea, Vietnam. It wasn't really for our freedom. It was for other nations' freedoms. A lot of this that we do now, it's for our freedoms, but also for our security more than our freedoms. But again, 3 p.m. Monday, that's when you pay the true tribute to the fallen by moment of silence. So don't feel guilty about going out and having a good time, going on a barbecue, drinking a Corona Light, whatever. But just
I like what you did there. I like what you did there.
But yeah, and so it's that's what Memorial Day should be, a celebration, and also a way to honor those who did pay the price.
Man, I'm so glad you said that. I never really thought about it that day. You touched on something. It's like Memorial Day. I always felt like, if you ever really got carried away with a good time or something, like, was a little guilt there. Like, this is supposed to be about something else. I'm really glad you said that. That, man, I think that meant a lot to me, and I know it did to everybody watching this. That's very well said, my friend. So, man, I honestly, I'm honored, and I appreciate you taking the time to get on here with me. I'm jealous that it's still light where you are there in Colorado.
It's dark here. It's starting to set. It might start hitting the mountains here in about 5 minutes.
I'm even more jealous. I have mountains, but they're about 45 minutes north. But I sincerely do. I appreciate the friendship I have with you. All the love and respect in the world, from my family to yours. Please tell the wife I said hey. And for everybody on here that wants to follow you and keep up with what you're doing from this point moving forward, where can they find you on your socials?
I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and just John Tiegen is how you can find me. Obviously, I've been pretty good at crushing the fake accounts, but my Instagram has the blue check mark. The other ones have the more following. I think I got 50-something thousand on Facebook, so that's the easy way to find it. And Twitter is like 30-something thousand or 40,000 or something like that. So don't go to the low numbers, because those are all fake accounts, even if they have my picture. God, it's crazy. I don't know if you have that problem. I'm pretty sure you do. All these fake accounts that pop up. It's insane. But that's the easiest way. So.
Well, man, dude, thank you so much again for taking the time. I've actually got some good news for those of you that hadn't heard it yet. We are releasing a new single. Song's going to come out on the 5th, I think is the plan. And man, it's a song that's more than skin deep. I think it's not necessarily directed, at veterans or it's just about hard days, man. It's about the name of the song's Hard Days. It's about tough times in life, and being able to take the good with the bad and appreciating the bad that leads to the good. And it's a song unlike anything we've ever singled. It's more than skin deep. It's not a party song. It's definitely something that's, but it's not one of those that feels heavy, man. It's like encouraging and hopeful, and I really hope that folks enjoy it. So y'all be looking out for that. And I can promise you, man, everybody at 3 o'clock local time on Monday, man, we'll be thinking of you, brother, and those that you served with and lost, and all of the 2.8 million that have paid the ultimate price for freedom as a whole. And again, man, all the love and respect in the world. Thank everybody for clocking in and watching. And I hope y'all got something out of it, man. If you don't know who this guy is, dig into him. I promise you will not be disappointed. in this America right here. He will keep you entertained, and he will tell the truth, and he will tell what's thinking, unbridled and uncensored. That's one of my favorite things about you, man. I look forward to getting this thing over with, and hopefully seeing you sometime soon, brother.
Heck yeah, that's it, man. Open invitation to Warrior Weekend. Shoot
I'm
out of
gonna
helicopters.
make that happen. My wife's supposed to have me on vacation, but I may have to bounce out for a day or something. Well, I'll call you. All
right.
If she watches this, I'm not going to be able to make it. And if she doesn't, I'll holler at you. Dude, much love and respect.
Yeah, we got some Medal of Honor recipients coming, so hey,
Oh, man. See, you throw that in there. I already wanted to.
Your boy's going to be there.
Who is?
Justin, he'll be there.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be dragging him there.
Dude, so we're talking about Justin Patterson. Those of you that don't know Justin, hadn't seen the story, check him out as well. He's an incredible man. Yeah. Another guy we're proud to know. Just an incredible dude, man. I'm telling you, I'm really proud of the circle of people that I have around me. And dude, y'all have been wonderful influences on me and my life. You just made me appreciate the things around me a lot more than I did before, and have kind of been able to give me some direction on more than good intentions when it comes to veterans and active duty guys and girls. So, man, I appreciate you for everything you do, everything you've done, and everything you'll continue to do, my friend, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, sir. It's a good time.
All right, everybody.
3 o'clock
Monday. Mr. John Tiegen, Tig. Brother, much love. We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. See you soon.
Thank you.